In the name of God, I am Kaman Kashi. I am here with the ninth part of the training on international transport and transit. Well, friends, the ninth part is dedicated to introducing some customs documents. This is because when we defined the documents together, some of these documents were not included in that section. But these are very important documents that we need to become familiar with and fully understand. The first customs document we want to talk about in this section is the Customs Declaration, which is one of the most important customs documents. It is required for exports, imports, and also for transit. This declaration is a document that actually contains information and details about the goods and is prepared by the owner of the goods or their representative, and it must be prepared and submitted to customs. In fact, according to customs laws and based on the executive regulations of a country, this declaration is prepared by the representative. It is submitted to customs, and in fact, customs officials compare this declaration document with the goods themselves. If the information recorded in it matches the goods and there are no issues, so they will grant you the necessary permission to export, import, clear, or transit the goods. That is, the permit is issued. Therefore, it is very important that when preparing the goods declaration, the owner of the goods acts with complete accuracy. All details related to the goods, including its specifications, net weight, gross weight, tariff code, and other details must be stated completely and accurately in this declaration form. As we saw today, these declarations are now done electronically and through customs systems. Export declaration period, import declaration period, transit declaration period, and so on. All these kinds of topics which you have surely heard about and are familiar with. So the customs declaration is one of the most important customs documents which we need in all transportation procedures. And it has different types, which we will get to know in the next slide. If we look at the types of declarations, export declarations come in two forms, definitive export and temporary import. Similarly, for imports, we have definitive and temporary import declarations, and for transit, we have transit declarations for both domestic and international transit. And there is also the return declaration, which actually corresponds to the same customs procedures we discussed earlier. For each customs procedure, you need to prepare a separate, specific, and dedicated declaration. In this section, we want to talk about the release order, also known as the delivery order. Let's examine it together and see what exactly a release order is. Here, I've shown you both the front and back sides of it. And in the next slide, we'll define it and review its uses together. A release order is a document that is officially issued by the shipping company or its agent. In fact, when a cargo owner settles accounts with the shipping company or its agent, pays the full freight charges, and covers all local fees such as the release order fee, port charges like THC, and any other costs they are responsible for, the shipping company or its agent issues a document called a release order. By issuing this document, they are essentially granting permission for the cargo owner or the person listed as the consignee on the bill of lading to collect the goods from customs. After the release order is issued by the shipping company, the cargo owner or their legal representative can go to customs and by presenting this release order along with other relevant documents, take delivery of the goods from customs. The information contained in the release order is extracted from the contents of the bill of lading or the manifest and matches them exactly. The information included in the release order consists of the consignee's details, the name of the vessel that transported the goods, the bill of lading number, its date of issuance, the port of loading, the port of discharge, the quantity and type of goods, the type of packaging, a description of the goods, the net and gross weight, the name of the shipping company, and the transport company that actually carried out the shipment, the container number, and other such details, all of which are extracted directly from the manifest or bill of lading. In recent years, we have seen that this release order is issued electronically. I have also shown an example of this in the image here, where the release order is assigned to the cargo owner by the shipping company through the EPL system. A copy of this assignment is given to the cargo owner, who can use it to clear their goods. and through the system proceed with the rest of their processes, such as import registration and other related tasks. The next document we want to discuss in this section is the Customs Warehouse Receipt, also known as the Warehouse Receipt. Here I have again provided an example of it for you. We have heard this term many times in both sea and land transport as well as in other modes of transport. In the following lessons we will get to know more about it together. Customs Warehouse Receipt. It is the receipt for goods that enter customs facilities and are stored inside them. The information from the bill of lading and the date the goods were unloaded in the warehouse are recorded on it. In fact, any document issued by the recipient of the goods or the warehouse keeper which serves as a receipt, it states that I have received this specific item with particular specifications from a certain deliverer on a specific date. This is called the warehouse keeper's receipt. This document is one of the most important documents regarding ownership of goods in customs facilities. According to the provisions of the Customs Affairs Law and its implementing regulations, every item that enters customs facilities or customs warehouses must be registered in the relevant customs warehouse records, and for each entry in the manifest list, a separate warehouse receipt must be issued for each vehicle and delivered to the person handing over the goods, which today we see is done electronically. These warehouse receipts, which can also be obtained from the EPL system, are accessible and have become very common. So the warehouse receipt is one of the most important documents in customs facilities, and it serves as proof of ownership for goods that are stored inside the warehouses. What is the difference between a clearance certificate and a warehouse receipt? In many cases, we see that a lot of people mistakenly use these two terms interchangeably, so it's really good to fully understand them and be able to distinguish their differences. The warehouse receipt and the clearance certificate are two completely different documents. A warehouse receipt is a document issued by the Public Warehouses Organization. When an imported good arrives at customs facilities, this receipt is issued by the warehouse keeper and the person receiving the goods and the owner of the goods with this document realizes that their goods have been placed in the public warehouses and are actually under customs supervision. But a delivery order is a document issued by the International Transport Company, and it indicates that the owner or importer of the goods has settled accounts with the International Transport Company for the transportation of their goods. They have fully settled all other costs with the transport company, and based on this document, they are allowed to receive their goods from customs. In fact, from the perspective of the International Transport Company, the clearance of their goods from customs is no longer an issue. So these are completely different from each other. We should not use them interchangeably or incorrectly.